This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
This is the TURS radio show, and I'm your host, Christa Niels. My guest today is my long-term friend, Petra Kreuzer. We know each other since we were born. Hello, Petra. How are you?
Hi, Christa. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's a privilege to be on your show. How are you?
I'm fine, and I'm excited too, because we are about to talk about kind of our lifetime.
Yes.
Let's see.
And this is quite a long time.
Yes. We do not share that.
No.
Our listeners are allowed to bet and to guess.
Oh,
Petra, a long time we know each other. We followed almost the same career path. We were in school, we studied, we started in the IT industry and had there our long times, and finally it turned out no family, no partner, no children. Any regrets about that?
Well, overall, I would say no. It was certainly not really a decision I took not to have kids. Not sure. I guess it was similar with you. It was simply this. It was the circumstances, and the decision I took, and you certainly did. We both said we want to be independent. Yeah,
that's right.
I guess that was the decision. We wanted to be independent. Work was important for us. We wanted to follow our vision. And, well, at that time, that meant this was the focus, so no kids, no family. And I would say, as probably most of the women did, I did have my years where I thought, well, this was probably wrong. You should have done this differently. But at the end, I would say regrets, no.
Mm-hmm. So it's with me. And
yeah.
I remember I was thinking about that. I had a partner right in the beginning, in these early times when women are thinking about family and stuff. And finally, I understood I'm in IT industry. It's moving fast and faster. And as soon as I have left for 6 months, I'm out.
Exactly.
Definitely out.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. This. At that time, there was no real. Well, we had to make a choice. Yeah, some sort of a choice. Yeah.
I think this is the better word. We made a choice and not a decision.
Yeah.
It's easier. And finally, when I look back, I say I wouldn't have made anything else, anything in a different way. Nothing.
Yeah.
I would do it the same way.
Right. I agree with that. I'm totally with you. Yeah.
I remember when we finished school, it was very modern that we tried to earn a little money during the vacations. And you met a woman, which you said, she is a kind of role model for me.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, this lady was certainly my most important role model. And, regarding my working life or my career, she certainly influenced me a lot. Yeah. The lady I'm talking about founded a company in the 30s together with her brother, a small but very stable and successful company which still exists today.
Oh, really?
Oh yes. It's it's the third generation who's leading this company now.
That's interesting.
And nowadays they are still they are bigger, they are a little bit bigger, but it's still a family owned and a family run company. And this lady was when I met her, in my eyes at that age, still a little bit older, but she has been working all life long. And she was really impressive. Yeah. She told me whenever we met, and I had the pleasure to meet her quite frequently, she was always giving me the message that a woman can achieve the same things as men do. Yeah. There is no reason why women shouldn't be doing this. And she was working all her life. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. We'll talk later after the break. I'm Krista Niels, and we will be right back after this commercial break. You're listening to the TURS radio show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network on www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the TURS radio show, and I'm your host, Krista Niels. Today's guest is Petra Kreuzer, my long-term friend. Welcome back, Petra.
Thank you, Krista.
Petra, before the break, we talked about a lady who was your role model for your life, your professional life, and your career. What else can you tell us? She said a woman can do all and everything, like men.
Yes. And one of the lessons she gave me, I'll never forget about that. She told me one day, just make sure that when you're working, people can focus on and will focus on your skills and experiences. Don't run around and don't, when, for example, she said, don't wear clothes that are too how would you say that, eye-catching or striking. Yeah. Don't wear too much jewelry. Yeah. Maybe some pearls. Yeah. But that's more than enough. People should not focus when they see you, when they meet you. They should not focus on your look. They should really focus on your skills, your experience, your knowledge, whatever you can deliver.
So on who you are and not how you look like.
Exactly. And I thought that quite impressive. I never forgot about that.
I remember that you told me about the pearls.
Yes.
Very often.
Yes. And I keep on telling this other women, yeah. I still think this is a very valid point and an important point for women.
Yeah. Don't use so many eye catchers. Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
So, your role model. Let's see how it influenced your personal career.
Well, when I was thinking about this interview, I suddenly thought, well, I always forget about my first job, yeah, after my studies. And this was, although this was a job that really, yeah, let me start differently. A big German organization with several thousand people, and I probably could have stayed there for the rest of my life. I only stayed there for 2 years. Yeah. The reason why is this was simply too big and it was too difficult to move on and to build up a career.
Mm-hmm. And so
to develop, exactly. And so I decided after 2 years, I'm not going to stay there. This is not what I want.
I remember that I was very surprised because you liked the work there.
Absolutely. This was a very nice job. This was a job in an international environment. This was quite exciting, but it was very difficult to move on. And I did know that this was important to me. I wanted to develop. Yeah. And, we were pretty young at that time. And, we simply did, but still we didn't want to waste our time. Yeah. And at a certain point in time, I thought, I'm wasting my time here. I can't stay. And I took I really have to say I took the right decision, and I joined an American company, which was with a lot of young people, which was at least in Europe, much smaller. And it was I had great opportunities there, I have to say. Yeah, I did work a lot. It was hard. It was a totally different way of working, and it was a totally different way of what we use in companies, where you think you were safe. Once you start there, nothing can happen to you. This was, the organization and how the organization was run in this company was totally different, and in the beginning a shock to me. But on the other hand, it gave me great opportunities and great chances to move on. Yeah. I
remember that you moved on and on and on, and finally you made a real career. You had responsibility for employees. You became a boss.
Yes.
And I remember during these times, we both were, it was the early times where women traveled alone or women were unusual in these positions.
Absolutely.
You remember these words like, it's a woman? No.
Yes.
I am not the secretary.
Yes. Yeah, I still have to laugh about that. But it was quite normal, and I know you have experience. When I traveled, I used to travel a lot at that time. In the planes, I was normally the only woman, and men looked at me and they were they were astonished and probably a bit irritated. But still, once we on the other hand, it was they did understand when we started to talk. Yeah. And when I tried to arrange meetings or to arrange appointments, people were asking me most of the times, "Oh, but who's coming?" I said, "Well, I will be there." "Oh, I thought you were the secretary." I said, "No, I'm not. I will be there." And I also, what I also found out is that I did receive a lot of support from my customers at that time. Once they found out that I would be coming, they were helping me they were telling me, "Okay, this is how you will find us." Telling everybody who was involved, "Hey, look at the lady, she's from company ABC, and she's doing the installation, and she's doing the training with you." I received a lot of support. This was really astonishing. Yeah, and this was, wonderful.
I remember one incident that happened to me. I was with a huge computer company with DEC, and I came to a customer. I was invited for a long weekend to install the software, and all the employees were sent home so I could work for Thursday till Sunday. And when I was working there, finally it turned out one computer was broken and I had to fix it. But I had no tools because I wasn't a hardware technician. I was a software technician.
Yeah.
And I tried to repair that computer and I succeeded. And I used a flyer to put the boards back into line. And the same company, that was very interesting when I was there. I met all the people of the department. They stayed there and said, "Okay, we cannot stay home when you are here."
Yeah.
And the younger people and the secretary once told me, "Why don't you come more often?" I said, "Why? What? When? And she said, "Well, see, every time you are announced as our software engineer, our boss is going to a special coffee shop and buying very good coffee. He's buying special cakes and special bread and food, and we are allowed to eat and drink that afterwards when you are gone too. And sometimes we like to have more of that."
No, I agree with that. This was a great time. Yeah.
Yes.
This was really good. On the other hand, what did also surprise me, when I was talking to my female colleagues, and they were telling me, "Hey, we really admire what you're doing, and this is great." And when I said, "Okay, but are you not going such a way?" They said, "No, we don't want to."
Why?
Yeah, it's simply because they simply made the decision to stay where they are. Yeah, probably. I don't really know, but it was still. There was such a gap. Either you were really well. I was really supported, as I said. Yeah, and it would have been easy for other women to do something similar. Yeah, I couldn't believe that at that time, that you also, well, it was their decision not to go for this, just to stay where they are in a typical, maybe female role. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By the way, did you have the chance, if a woman said, "Okay, I want to go that way," could you be a sponsor for her? Would that have been possible?
Well, at that time, not at that time, really a bit difficult because I was still in at my beginning of the career. Yeah. Later on, it certainly worked that way. Yeah, there were one or two women where I could really provide my support and sponsor them and mentor them a bit and help them to get on the way. Yeah. But what still surprised me was I found this also so exciting. These were exciting years. Yeah, it was always hard work and whatever, but it was exciting. And I couldn't believe it that someone would say, no, I don't want to go for this.
Yes, I'm supportive for these words.
Still. Yeah.
And I couldn't understand that either.
Yeah.
But in the environment I was in the end, I realized that there weren't any women. Finally, we were 2 women and the secretary.
Yeah.
And this was very, puzzling. No, it was, I couldn't understand that in any way. I couldn't understand that because it was a job that was good for women. It was consultancy. It was engineering, easy going. So,
I agree.
You remember all these? Yeah.
Still, the environment we were working in was not let's say, the classic environment that women were in, at least at that days. Yeah, I think nowadays it's different.
Yeah. Okay.
But at that time, women used to work in HR, in finance. And
yes,
and as a secretary, and that was mainly it.
We'll have that later. I'm Christine Niels, and we will be right back after this commercial break. You're listening to the TURS radio show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network on www.xcbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
This is the TURS radio show, and I'm your host, Christa Niels. My guest today is Petra Kreuzer, my long-term friend. I cannot count the years. It's long. Welcome back, Petra.
Thank you, Christa.
Petra, do you remember all these nice words in a restaurant when you were traveling alone? Where is your husband?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to wait for him till we can seat you?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, this was funny.
Yeah, somehow, yes.
Somehow it was funny. Yes. And that's definitely something. Well, at the end, this was definitely something you didn't need in the evening when you were tired. You simply wanted something to eat. You certainly didn't want discussions like this and remarks like this. But
I remember one day when I had to fly from Düsseldorf to Nuremberg. Not a long trip with the airplane, but I was boarding. And when I came into the plane, the stewardess took me straight away and said, we're sorry, we put you in the wrong place. Please follow me. And finally, I found me in business class and thought, what happened? I was sitting with my colleagues in economy, but they took me into business class, and all my colleagues were envying me. And finally, I asked them, and they said two things. One thing is the plane is full of men, and there are several who are drunk. And we thought we put you in business class so you're safe and we can care for you. And the other one is you are not used to have your miles. You don't have a card for your miles and more or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And so we decided to upgrade you for your own safety and fun. And I just said, thank you.
That's gorgeous.
Yes.
Well, that's really gorgeous. That never happened to me. Good. What a nice story.
Yes. So let's turn to the present. Has there anything changed today?
Well, let me start with a story that happened the other day. I had some problems with our IT environment at the office, so I had to call our provider. Mm-hmm. And I know the company is run and was founded by a man. The telephone was answered by a woman. And the technical guy who helped us to solve the problem was again a man. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about our interview today and thought, well, there's not really a lot of change. Yeah. So this sounded so, yeah. It's still, you know, these jobs like answering a phone, that's a female job. Founding a company is still done too many times. Way. Mm-hmm. And the technical support is also still done by a man. I'm not sure if this is a good example, but this happened to me the other day, and I thought, well, it's not really a big change nowadays. Also, this is not completely true. If I look at the things like when you say it was difficult to go to a restaurant, we were the only women on the train or on a plane. You know, these are things that definitely changed, and this is good. Yeah.
Yes.
I do think it's much easier for women nowadays to start a career and to be visible in a business or in an organization.
Do you have the feeling that they take their chances? Sometimes I have the feeling it's more the other way around. I see ladies finishing their studies, and out of a sudden, and I hear that from the statistics from the universities, there's finally 50% women who are getting their degrees, who have a very excellent education at that point, and they never arrive in a job.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah. Right. I would make a difference. I think women at our age are a bit younger. I think they did take the chance and they did grab the opportunity. When I do see lecturers for our seminars, there are plenty of women coming, which I think is great. But the real young women nowadays, I agree with you. I sometimes think we are moving backwards. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I don't really see these women appearing somewhere. Yeah, it's and if I look around, if I look at the young women in my environment, they are still, they go for the not very good paid jobs, not to say for the, almost no money jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really decide to go for a career. They do have to work because you need a salary or a second salary to have a family, which is the next point. We didn't have the chance to, we had this discussion about are there regrets about having kids or not having kids? This is still the same thing today. Yeah, so there are very good reasons why this probably doesn't work properly. But I agree with you, if I look at the very young people with a very good education, where are they?
Mm-hmm. I remember that I worked for a company as a trainer, as a communication trainer, and we decided in that company to have a special program for future leading people or people in leading positions. And I said, well, before you do that, and especially for women, can you give me statistics? How is the distribution of men and women? How many women, how many men in your company? Finally, it turned out that about 20% in the company were women. And of these 20%, 18%, so almost all, were in jobs like secretary, HR, marketing.
Yeah.
Not even teaching, which is a quite usual job for women. And I was shocked when I saw that, and I said, my goodness, of these 20% women, so let's assume it had been 20 women, 18 were in these classic standard jobs, and only 2 were in these special IT jobs. And I couldn't understand that, but I know how these jobs work, and you are permanent traveling, you're permanent in working hours of 14, 15, 16 hours per day, and that's not for a family, and that's not for any planning of a family, I assume.
Absolutely.
What's going wrong?
Yeah. Well, I don't have the answer to this, but I still think we are in the old classic model. It's easy for men to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And women simply don't have, well, they do have the same chance, theoretically. Yeah. I think in practice, it's simply not working. And to be honest, I also don't know if women really do they really want to go for this?
When I remember, I did some research for a great article which I did for a book about female quota in companies, and I found out women want to have the responsibility. Women want to take part and share development in business and have the jobs we call the good jobs or the interesting jobs, not the standard things, but being in special jobs. And I found out, that was really interesting for me, in the statistics, that in Africa, the female quota is about 60% in certain industries, while in Germany, we get only to almost 30%.
Wow, yeah.
And this was very interesting for me to see. I think the young people today, they do not have a real role model, how that they can follow. And in Africa, maybe they don't have either, but something's working differently there.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
And I learned from the United States that the young women want to be in a job. They yearn for a job. They yearn to apply the knowledge and the education they have received during their last years. But they do not know how to put the job, the children, and the family under one roof.
Exactly, yeah.
And they said they are tired of hearing, it is possible, you can do that. Look at me, I have done so. And when you look behind the scenes, you see there was a nanny, there was a gardener, there was a chauffeur, and stuff like that. This is not a role model for the young women. So I can understand that they are disappointed or reluctant or something like that, that they do not dare to move into these positions.
Yeah. I agree. You know, the circumstances are certainly not ready, not prepared for them. Yeah. It's and I agree. Yeah, you cannot. It's simply wrong to tell them, hey, you can do everything. This is not an option. Yeah.
Yep. Let's talk after our break.
Not an option.
Yep. Let's talk after our break about writing a book.
Okay.
I'm Krista Nails, and we will be right back after this commercial break. You're listening to the TELUS radio show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network on www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the TELUS radio show, and I'm your host, Krista Nails. My guest today is my best friend forever, Petra Kreuzer. We were grown up together for many, many decades now, and welcome back.
Oh, thank you, Krista.
Petra, before the break, we were talking about where are all the ladies gone after they have studied and received their degrees. So we thought about several things during the last years because we're very often or most of the time thinking in the same direction. We are used to fall, get up, brush up the dust, put the crown back in place and move forward. If
Yeah.
you had to write a book about your life, what title would it carry?
Well, I was thinking about that a long time. I really didn't know. At the end, I said, I really love the sentence or the statement you just made. And I probably, if I had to write a book, it would probably in the content of go for it and then fall down, get up, brush off the dust, put the crown back in place, move forward, and enjoy it. I that sentence, and this is something we are both good at. Yeah. Another option for me is, I was thinking about that this afternoon when I was sitting outside with a cup of coffee. I know you are a networking expert, and we all should learn, especially women, need to learn much better how to network. To be honest, I'm sort of a networking disaster. At least in the past years, yeah. My other option to write a book should be, I'm a networking disaster. How the hell do I get out of this? Yeah, that might be, yeah, plan B.
Let's see, this might be a big chapter in our book we are planning to write. So that would be a real good option. I should put that down. Networking disaster. Yeah, thanks for your compliments. I know I hear this all the time, even from men, that I'm quite good at networking and keeping the network up and running.
Yes, absolutely.
I have thought about this issue too, because I do not let my interview partners crush their brains. I'll do the same. And I thought about the title of my life, and it would be something like that: be curious and learn, and never stop that.
Yeah. And don't avoid challenges.
Yeah, sure. This is the most important, I think. Challenges are made to give you a chance for development.
Exactly, yes.
You're always a different person after you have taken a challenge.
Yes, I agree.
And I found an interesting sentence of Simone de Beauvoir, which I like very, very much. And I have it in 3 languages in the meantime. She said it in French: on ne naît pas femme, on le devient. In English, it would be, one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. So what are we when we are born? A neutral thing? Something without sex? What do you think?
Well, I think we are a woman or a girl already, but the way we behave later on, and the way we act, and the way we approach certain things is definitely something we learn during our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's,
I remember for myself that during the last 5-6 years, I changed. I changed a lot. And against your role model, I started to find a special style for me. And I started to wear high heels, what I never did before. And I found my old passion wearing hats. In the meantime, it's sometimes difficult. I'm attending a meeting or whatever, and people recognize And so I
Yeah.
tried to get into that without a hat, and they didn't recognize me.
Yeah.
And I thought, oops, what can I
It's a
do about
brand.
that?
Yeah.
A bit twisted in that.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah, but
end,
what-
it showed it's a good idea and was a good move.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What a great development. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. And people recognize me. And in the end, they found out there is a person who has knowledge and a person who has a network and a person who is still moving forward and still founding companies and not hesitating to do that.
Yeah. And that's really something you can be very, very proud of. That is a great way. And you achieved so much with that.
Mm-hmm. I know that.
Yeah.
No, we are still moving forward, and you are moving with me on the same path now.
And you mentioned earlier that young women nowadays, it's hard for them to find a role model, and you are right. But they need people. They need a woman like you. They need people like you who tell them, okay, hey, look at me. This is what I achieved, and this is how I did it. So there are lots of things you and me can tell young women and can teach young women.
Yes. I found out there was another thing women do in companies. When they hit this so-called glass ceiling, most of the women stop their efforts. They leave the company and found an own company. Yeah. This was really interesting for me to see.
Right.
Leaving a way that is leading to nowhere for them.
Yeah.
Petra, thinking about our lives, if you had to sum up all of this within a minute, right now, what would you say?
I certainly don't have any regrets. There are some small things I would probably do differently. You know, we have this famous work-life balance nowadays. Maybe I should have focused on that a bit more. On the other hand, you know, I'm happy with my life. I could live my dreams. I could follow my vision I had as a child or as a young woman. I have lots of good friends, and I really enjoyed all the help I received from you. And what else can I say? I think we are on the right track.
What are your visions for the future? Another minute for you.
To be honest, I'm working on my vision right now. Yeah. What I would hope I can be doing, I think there is still a lot of work left to make the working life easier for women. And if I can help them, I would love to do that. If I can help to encourage women to go for a career, to follow their dreams, to develop their dreams, to follow their dreams, that would be my vision for, I would really love to follow. Yeah, I'm not sure if I go for a new job or if I should retire. Well, I will certainly not retire, but there is still a lot of time left to help women to maybe to to make it easier for women to follow their career.
These are wonderful words, Petra. I love them, and I'm with you all the time. I know that you will join us in making this planet a better planet. And thank you so much for your time today, being in this interview with me and sharing a bit of our lives with our audience. Thank you.
Thanks you. Thanks again for having me here. And it was a pleasure to talk to you, Krista. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome anytime. We will repeat that.
Okay.
Join me, Krista Niels, next week on the TURS radio show on the X-Zone Broadcast Network on www.xzbn.net.